This is big breaking news. Something is seriously wrong with our food supply. Farmers are reporting that up to a 60 to 70% reduction in bee populations is happening right now in the United States. Record drop in honeybee and pollinator bee production, and record death of these bees has happened over the past 6 months. They are not sure exactly what is going on, but this is going to affect our food supply. This affects crops being pollinated, and this is going to potentially even make food prices go higher. So let's get into all the details here. Really quick, guys, please just hit that like and hit that subscribe. I'm posting multiple videos every day, keeping you guys updated on this big news, and it just helps to get these alerts out. I appreciate that. So right now, farmers across the United States just reported, according to an ongoing survey with Project APIS, right? They were asking farmers across the US what has happened to their bee productions, and they are saying that they have lost more than 60% of their bee colonies over the winter. And this is a record amount of decline and loss from these colonies within 1 year, right? And they're saying before the year wraps up, it could be an over 70% loss of bee colonies that is happening inside the United States. So this is massive, okay? And this is the biggest loss in US history that has ever happened. And what is this going to do to our food supply? Right? Lots of different crops are dependent on bees to pollinate them, right? And a lot of different farms literally have bees brought to their farm to pollinate the crops. A lot of fruits like apples and oranges and pecans, a lot of these things like that that have flowers need these bees to pollinate it. Not to mention things like tomatoes, cucumbers, stuff like that also need bees to pollinate. You can self-pollinate yourself, but that's a whole nother issue and project to do. And the bees, they are brought to these farms all throughout the United States. This is something my dad actually did when he was a lot younger. He moved these bees around the country, and I think this was like in the 70s. And he would always tell me the story one time how one of the bee trucks, a lot of the bees fell out, right? It opened up, they would transport them around, and they all fell out on the highway, and they had to collect all these bees and put them back in the trucks to transport them to another farm. And bees inside the United States actually pollinate half of all the crops, right? So half of every single crop and food that you're eating that's not meat, and a lot of that's even related to this pollination, the food that the animals are eating. Half of all the crops are pollinated by these bees, and this affects apples, berries, blueberries, raspberries, pumpkins, melons, cherries. It's affecting half of the agriculture economy. To lose 70% of their bee population is insane. All right, and what exactly is going on here? Let me know your theory down below. They are trying to figure out, they're saying there's multiple theories, and they're not sure exactly what's going on, but scientists are saying that it could potentially be some type of virus. All right, that's the newest theory, is maybe there's some type of like bee virus going around. It's killing the bees. It could be a whole host of things. It could be pesticides that are being sprayed have just, but why does it cause such a dramatic reduction, 70% at once, right? It could be some type of environmental factor, all right, with the bees, something going on, maybe with the weather, all right, the winds, the temperature, even Earth's like magnetic field. Maybe something is going on with that, and it's causing problems with the bees, all right? Is there something else? Is it some type of, you know, electromagnetic radiation? Is it some type of like cell phone towers are affecting bees? I don't know. I'm not saying it is. I'm just throwing random ideas out there. These are all the things that they're looking into right now. And they're saying that one of the main things they're looking at is some type of virus, maybe that's causing this colony collapse disorder where entire colonies of bees are just disappearing or dying. All right. So they normally have a queen that produces all the eggs and produces all the offspring for the colony. And for some reason, the queen is dying and then the colony just dies out because they can't have any more. There's no new bees and they can't find a new queen, or the entire colony just disappears and they get up and leave one day. All right. This is also happening across the country as well too. So maybe they're migrating somewhere else because the environment they're in is affecting them, all right, or hurting them. We're not sure exactly what's going on. Let me know your theories down below, all right? This is what Scott McArt said. This is an associate professor of entomology at Cornell University. He said, quote, something real bad is going on this year. We have been seeing high losses year after year, but if anything, it's getting worse, which is troubling. Some places are having devastating losses, and there was a shortfall in pollination in almond orchards this year. All right, so look out for almond prices to go up. It says whether these impacts will cascade to other crops remain to be seen, but it's certainly possible, all right? Because a lot of crops don't pollinate in the winter time, all right? So these almond orchards were most likely in places like California, Southern California, and they pollinate in the winter time because they don't have any frost where it cools down a little bit. That they also do that in Florida, right? For the orange groves, they grow and pollinate in the winter time, right? Because the summertime is just too hot. And so we haven't really seen the full effects of this. Most of these crops, like the berries and the apples and all these things, haven't pollinated yet. And they're going to soon, though, right? Spring is coming up. They're going to start flowering soon and need pollinated to start that growth of the fruit, right? And that might not happen, especially if the commercial side of this beekeeping where they move them around to different farms, right? If that has collapsed, then it's going to be a major issue, right? Because that's what these farmers depend on. This is like an entire industry where they move these bees across the country. And you've probably even seen it. Maybe you haven't noticed, but you'll see it randomly along the highways, along random roads, at farms. You'll just see a stack of like bee boxes or something like that on the edge of a farm or on the edge of a grove. And that's what those bees are. They drop them off there to pollinate the crops, right? And then they'll move them to another area. It says here that the latest honeybee losses are valued at $139 million and have come as the honey price has climbed 5% amid a drop in honey production. It says many beekeepers are now struggling to absorb these shortfalls, with some going out of business altogether, right? And honey prices most likely will increase. And a lot of honey that you're getting, like clover honey and weird stuff like that, is fake honey. It's not even real honey produced by bees. It's just some weird fake, like sugar, glucose, high fructose corn syrup Frankenstein honey, all right? That's what a lot of it is on the shelf right now, unless you get pure honey, right? A lot of it's just fake, and that's why it's so cheap. And that's why we probably won't see honey prices spike that much. They'll probably go up a little bit more. But a lot of the honey market is just fake honey anyway, so it's not even affected by this. This is what one beekeeper said, quote, "It's all gone." He said, quote, "The equity on the house is gone. Our retirement is gone. The family members' money is gone. All that's left are empty boxes, and we don't even have the dead bees. They're gone too." Right? Really sad. Equity in the house is gone. All right, they've been taking out loans against their house. Retirement's gone. Family members, they've been borrowing money. This has been devastating farmers, right? The past 6 months. And this is going to devastate more farmers, right? This is the start of it. This is like the foundation of our crop production in the US, right? Half of all the crops need these bees, so we could see more farmers starting to have losses as well too, right? And the thing with bee production, a lot of these farmers don't have like crop insurance or farm insurance the same way that crop farmers do. Like if they have a failure that year, then they can get insurance on it and make claims against it, things like that. A lot of farmers that do bees, right, beekeepers, they don't have the same insurance, right, and the same coverages. And this is stuff that the government even helps them cover, is these crop losses, right? So they don't have that. So when they lose the money, when they lose all their bees, they're kind of out of luck, right? And they're even saying that all the bees are even gone, right? So they just have to restart from scratch. This is devastating, and we're gonna see the rippling effects over the next few months, for sure, over the next year, as we see spring and summer and August come and fall, when a lot of these crops are being harvested. We're gonna see the numbers, and I bet they're gonna be pretty low. All right. It says here that a certain portion of a colony typically perishes over their more moribund winter months, but this rate of loss was typically only around 10 to 20% until 2 decades ago, when a phenomenon called colony collapse disorder, where colonies completely disappear or die, started to emerge in the US. Typically, half of all colonies are lost on average. And it says scientists have ascertained that certain things, potentially climate, habitat loss, and pesticide use, have badly affected the bees. The losses are now being investigated by staff at the U.S. Department of Agriculture, which are analyzing bees, wax, and pollen to determine if parasites and viruses are to blame for the death. And it says here, this is a quote from Scott McArt. He said, quote, "There's no one single thing affecting honeybees, but we are trying to figure out what the most important stressors are right now." Quote, "There are a lot of suspicious things at the moment. You should see my inbox right now. There are theories about new viruses being involved, but we have to gather the data. We can't rule anything out at this stage." So something is going on with our bees, and it's going to affect our food supply. This is a national security issue at this point. So let me know what you guys think down below. Please hit it up for me down there. It helps to get these alerts out just so people know what's going on. This has been going on and getting worse, especially the last 10 years. But now we have broken another record, and it's getting to the point, what are we going to be at, 70 to 80% next year? And what happens when all of the bees are wiped out, right? When there's only 10% left for the year, All right, this is unsustainable. Something needs figured out, and we need our resources put into this. All right, this is a national security issue. If we can't grow food, then we can't feed our country. All right, we can't be a country unless we are able to grow our own food, especially for the United States. That's what makes us a superpower. That's part of the reason is the Midwest, right? The soil there, the production there, the amount of food that is grown in the Midwest and California and Texas and Florida are all over the place, okay? There's a ton of food being grown, and we need to be able to grow this food, and we need these bees to do it. All right, national security issue. So hopefully they can get on top of this and figure it out exactly what's going on and put a stop to it. Let me know your theories down below. Hope you guys are staying safe, staying prepared out there. I hope you have big blessings for your life, your family, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.